All right, today we're diving into something called TQM, or Total Quality Management. And really, it's all about one thing. How do you create improvement that actually lasts? Let's get right into it.
So, have you ever wondered this? Why do some teams just seem to get better and better, while others feel like they're running in place? Well, I'll tell you, it's not about working harder. It's about having the right system. And today, we're going to crack that code. Okay, so first up, we're going to take a quick trip back in time. This whole thing is what I like to call the quest for quality. And trust me, it's way more than just a boring business strategy. It's this incredible story of an idea that literally evolved over 100 years and honestly, changed everything.
So, check this out. The whole thing really kicks off way back in the 1920s at Bell Labs. Yep, with stats. Then, after World War II, these brilliant minds, Deming and Duran, took these ideas over to Japan. And that's where they just exploded into concepts you've probably heard of, like Kaizen. It worked so well that by the 80s, the US Navy officially named it Total Quality Management. Fast forward to the 90s, and it's basically the backbone of huge global standards like ISO 9000 and Six Sigma. What a journey, right?
All right, let's get to the tools. The first one is called the PDCA cycle. And if you remember one thing, remember this. PDCA is the engine. It's what you use to drive real, game-changing breakthroughs. So, how does this engine actually work? It's 4 simple steps. First, you plan. And this isn't just wishful thinking. You zero in on a real pain point and set a concrete, measurable goal. Next, you do. You don't overhaul everything. You just run a small, safe experiment. Then, and this is crucial, you check. You look at the data, the cold hard facts to see what happened. And finally, you act. Did it work? Awesome. Make it the new standard. Did it not? No problem. You learn, you tweak the plan, and you go right back to the beginning of the cycle. It's all about learning and improving based on real evidence.
Okay, theory is great, but let's talk about a real-world example. Picture a manufacturing line where 20%, 1/5, of all their expensive material is just getting tossed in the scrap heap. I mean, talk about a huge waste of money and resources. They didn't need a small tweak, they needed a major breakthrough.
And boom, this is the magic of PDCA right here. They ran a small pilot, just one test of a new way to handle the material. And just look at that result. The scrap rate crashed from 20% all the way down to 5% in just one cycle. That one experiment completely changed the game for them and got them so much closer to their goal of zero waste.
But here's the thing about breakthroughs. They can disappear if you're not careful. It's one thing to have a great day. It's another to make it the new normal. And that brings us to our second equally important tool, the SDCA cycle. If PDCA is the engine of innovation, think of SDCA as the guardian of quality. It's the one that makes sure your hard-won gains actually stick around.
Now, notice the very first word here is different. It's standardize. See, PDCA is all about finding a better way. SDCA is about locking in the best way we already know. So you standardize it. You do it exactly that way every time. You check to make sure nobody's deviating, and if they are, you act right away to fix it. It's pure discipline. It's all about preventing things from slipping back to the old way.
Let me give you another quick example. Imagine an assembly line putting together, an engine. And they have this one problem. The bolts are all over the place. Some are too tight, some are dangerously loose. That's a huge quality and safety risk, right? They didn't need a brand new way to tighten bolts. They just needed to do it right, every single time. They needed stability. And look at this. This is what happened. They used SDCA. They standardized the exact torque needed, trained everybody on it, and put in daily checks. And the result? The big outcome? 0. A big, beautiful 0. That's how many customer complaints they got about that problem afterward. That right there is the power of stabilizing your process.
Okay, so we've got PDCA for big leaps forward, and we've got SDCA for holding the line, right? Breakthroughs and stability. But the real secret, the absolute magic, is when you realize they're not separate, they work together, and this is what creates what I love to call the improvement infinity loop.
This really breaks it down perfectly. You can think of them as 2 sides of the exact same coin. On one side, you have PDCA. It's always challenging things, always asking, okay, what's next? How can we be better? Its whole purpose is to improve. Then you flip the coin and you have SDCA. Its job is to preserve and sustain. It's always asking, are we being consistent? Are we sticking to the new standard? Its purpose is to stabilize. You see? Improve, then stabilize.
And man, this quote just nails it. Improvement without stabilization leads to transient gains. Basically, if all you do is chase the next big thing, you'll never hold on to your wins. They'll just fade away. But the flip side is just as true. Stabilization without improvement breeds stagnation. If all you do is maintain the status quo, you'll get left in the dust. You've got to have both. It's non-negotiable.
Okay, let's look at one last example that really ties this all together. Think about a customer service desk. They had two big goals that sound a little contradictory. They needed to be faster, but they also had to be more reliable and consistent. This is the perfect job for the infinity loop.
So, what did they do first? They pulled out PDCA. They ran an experiment, a pilot of a new automated system for routing tickets. And the result was a 30% reduction in response time. I mean, that's not a small improvement. That is a massive breakthrough, a huge win for them and their customers.
But, and this is the key part, they didn't just celebrate and move on. The second they knew it worked, they immediately switched gears to SDCA. They documented that new, faster process. They made it part of the official training. They started doing daily checks to make sure everyone was following it. They got their breakthrough, and then they locked it in. Improve, then stabilize. That is the infinity loop in action.
So, there you have it. We've seen the history, we've broken down the tools, and we've seen how they work together. Which brings us to the most important part. How can you actually use this?
Because really, this isn't just some abstract theory for a textbook. This is something you can start doing, like, today, on a process in your own work or life. So are you ready to map out your own improvement loop?
Here's a simple roadmap to get you started. Step 1, just pick one process, anything. Step 2, use that SDCA mindset to just write down the current, best way you know how to do it. That's your standard, your baseline. Step 3, now switch hats to PDCA. Find one nagging problem, one pain point in that process, and dream up a small experiment to try and fix it. Define how you'll measure success. Step 4, you got a plan for success. Think ahead about how you're going to switch right back to SDCA to lock in that win and make it permanent.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. This isn't about transforming your entire world overnight. It's not about boiling the ocean. It's about finding one small thing, making one small, meaningful improvement, and then having the discipline to make it permanent, to make it the new way things are done. So the only question left is, what small improvement will you make permanent today?